All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We got a cool show today, something a little different. We're always talking to artists and musicians and all that, but I got to give it up here to Frank the Drifter, aka Franklin. He's got a radio show that he does, he produces, and it's very unique. Nothing out there quite like it, and I'm a fan, so I had to talk to him. Um, he's done some work with Nick Shoulders too. That's where I got turned on through him. So yeah. So welcome to the show, man. This is pretty laid back.
Yeah, glad to be here. I listened to a few of your older episodes to
Yeah.
get a feel. I mean, I listened to some way back in the day. Like I listened to the first Nick Shoulders episode, which is how I first found out about the show. But yeah, I went back and listened to some like the past week. I listened to the Willie Carlisle and two of the Hank Four ones, or Coleman.
Yeah.
That
Great.
that dude's like so nice.
Coleman. Yeah, he is. He's a great guy. Good friend. We got our speaking of Willie and Coleman, next the 15th coming up here, October 15th, we got our show that I booked here in town, and they're both co-headlining, so that should be a good time. I can't wait for it.
Nice.
Make the drive, man. Cleveland's
Yeah,
not
it's
too
really
far.
it's like 6 hours. It's like the halfway point between where I'm from in Kansas and where I live now.
Okay.
How did you end up in Indy, by the way? I was wondering that.
What's that?
How did you end up there in Indianapolis? Are you from there?
Well, I'm south of Indianapolis
Oh,
by
okay.
30 minutes, not far, the outskirts. But yeah, I went to a small town school out here. So
Oh,
it's
nice.
not Marion County, which that's what Indianapolis is. I'm in Johnson County, just south of it. But yeah, it's kind of a cool thing. Like it was like a mix of growing up a little bit with country folk, and then also mix of the city life where you could be downtown Indianapolis thanks to the interstate in no time, or like even my high school had tractor days. So it's a blend of everything.
Nice. Yeah. Does Indianapolis have that thing? I don't know if you know much about the history of the city, but Cleveland has this thing where like the reason there's country music here is because the people from the rural areas came to the big city for work and brought their music. I assume Indianapolis has a similar thing,
I've
although
never quite looked into it, but
I'm not
I'm
exactly sure what the history of the big industry in Indianapolis would be.
yeah, yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. Now you got me wondering.
Yeah, because in Cleveland, a lot of people from like West Virginia came up to work in the coal or in the steel mills. So like, I mean, we'd call them hillbillies, I guess, now. But yeah, they'd come up here and play music, and that's how like Cleveland ended up having any sort of country music scene. Because otherwise, I'm pretty far north for
Right.
that kind of thing to just grow out of nowhere.
Yeah. Um, yeah, Indiana history is a little different as far as music for sure. It's interesting to think of how it all showed up here. We're kind of going off on a tangent, but I like it, so let's just keep.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, well, no, I was just thinking about Indianapolis because like obviously we're friends with Nick and all the Arkansas like country music folk, and being in like the northern part of the country and like not exactly. I mean, we're both kind of close to Chicago, and I'm a little close to New York, but we don't get like a ton of country tours coming through town, or at least I'd like to get more, but
right.
it's just like that circuit is kind of like a little bit southern from where I am. I'm not sure about Indianapolis necessarily, but
It's
it just,
it's hit
it's
or
like they're
miss.
northern cities. Yeah.
It's hit or miss for us too, which is strange because we're considered the crossroads of America.
Right.
Uh, so yeah, a lot of cities connect and drive through. It's a great hub. But I feel like, okay, if someone in Chicago, if they play a show in Chicago, which a lot of people are going to hit Chicago. A lot of people, a lot of money to be made. Bigger venues, whatnot. And so the next town, if they're traveling south, they're usually going to skip the next city and go to the one after that. So it's either going to be Cincinnati or Louisville, which are great spots for shows.
Right.
I've been to so many shows in both places. And so Indianapolis kind of gets the short end of the stick sometimes. Not all the time, but we got some cool spots here. It's been
Cool.
like that with all genres of music, not just country. But
Yeah, that's cool. You're putting on shows.
yeah,
That's
first
great.
one I'm gonna learn the hard way, I guess. Hopefully it works out. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not too hard. I just, you invite a bunch of people to do a thing and then you hope people show up. So
yeah, yeah. The
that's
pre-sale,
about it.
there's tickets already sold, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna be okay. I mean, you guys got Willie and Coleman. Them alone are gonna pull some fans that they have already made here, and I've heard some people online they're gonna make the drive. So might as well. It's a Saturday night, and it's about as cheap as I could possibly make it. $12, 5 acts. That's pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good show.
Yeah. So tell me how you got started with Dollar Country. I love the show. Like I said, there's nothing like it. And I've seen some behind the scenes on how you put these shows together, and that's a lot of work. I don't even know how you have time to do it. Like I love it.
Yeah.
I would like to even do it myself, but it's just like I don't got time.
Sometimes I don't have time to do it. Actually. Yeah, sometimes I get pretty behind, but the origin of it is all I worked at a record store I'm from Lawrence, Kansas, and I've been into music my whole life. Like music has always been super important just in general, but I got into collecting records and collecting music in general, and I always kind of liked stuff, I like stories. I like music that like says something that has some sort of history, or I like homemade stuff and, all sorts of that kind of like the sort of music that regular people make. And I feel like I started listening to country music, which is a music I didn't grow up listening to. It's not really my thing, except for like, Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson or whatever. But then I was at the record store and I saw people were like, we would put like pretty good country 45s in the dollar bin, but like, they weren't worth anything. They weren't worth more than $1. But I started listening to them and being like, oh, some of these have like funny names or they're just weird. Or I know at that time I knew, a lot about music, not as much as I do now, but I was like, this is weird that I can like look through the dollar bin and see a bunch of artists that I've never heard of ever. And so that kind of like slowly moved into me, like putting those records on and buying more records. And, then I had a couple boxes of Dollar Country 45s at home. And back in college, I did a radio show on the KJHK, which is in Lawrence, Kansas at University of Kansas. And I always liked the radio and I always liked sharing music. And so I wish I could tell you like the exact moment or how I came around to doing it, to thinking about it. But for whatever reason, I was just like, I have 2 turntables. I have a mixer. I can connect them to my computer. Like I have all the know-how. I should just like make a show. So I just made like a 45-minute show or whatever. And it was kind of like, I wanted to see something like that in the world. So I just decided to make it. And that was like almost exactly 6 years ago. I think the first show was on October 3rd. So I just started doing it, and it has slowly over the years devolved into this thing where the first episode was, a lot more major label stuff, Roger Miller and Johnny Cash and, your classic country classics and stuff. And then gradually I just got more into the stuff that was like less known about, or in the record world, you'd call it private press or vanity press or small labels, stuff that didn't, a label that didn't release more than 20 things.
Yeah.
And it kind of eventually I got deeper into the well and realized that there's just like almost seemingly an unending amount of like old local and regional country artists who released 7-inches or LPs. And I just started, gradually getting deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole and also falling more in love with the music,
Yeah. That's what I've come. Same here with this little podcast I got going here. There's a lot of artists I didn't know about, or say I've had someone on and they turned me on to a different artist that was way back when that I never even heard of. So it's like just getting that conversation started and sharing the music. There's so much good stuff out there that no one has any idea that even exists. That's why I love your show. I've found so many, new songs and new artists. I'm sure you come across a lot of duds though as well.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of have gotten pretty good at kind of sussing out good ones before I spend much time with them. You know, like if I'm looking through records, I can usually kind of figure like, oh, this label or this label is like stuff that's usually not very good, or, you know, I can get that stuff out of the way early now that I've been doing it for a few years. But yeah, I listen to a lot of stuff that does not make the show and that just isn't that good to me. You know, I have a certain taste, so I'm not going to say it's bad, but it's like stuff that doesn't stand out to me. Oh yeah, I've listened to, you know, I'm sure hundreds of hours of stuff I didn't like just to get to the stuff I like.
Yeah, man, it's just crazy the amount of time you have to fit on. So walk me through the process. You pick up a stack at a local record store or thrift store anywhere.
Yeah. Basically, the records themselves come from, like, at this point, they come from a lot of different places because I built up relationships with different stores and people who sell records. And, you know, like once you get into the world, you know, you make more connections and stuff. But yeah, so records either come from, I'll go out on a buying trip and go to flea markets and record stores or record swaps or whatever and buy records. Or I know a bunch of dealers who, you know, they'll buy collections from people. Like say they buy one person's collection or whatever, and then, you know, they take out all the stuff they're going to sell. And then they're like, oh, there's a bunch of country stuff in there. I'll call Franklin. He'll buy that stuff I'll just buy it bulk without even looking at it, just on the chance there's good stuff in there. And so I built up relationships with people like that. So I get a lot of records that way, just through the mail. And then, you know, I buy stuff on eBay and Discogs as well. And I hit up the local record stores or any record stores. So yeah, I get all these records. Then when I want to start a show, I'm not sure if you can see too far behind me, but there's a whole bunch of boxes of records pretty much surrounding me in every direction. And yeah, so I look through it and kind of look through maybe, you know, 100 records or whatever and find a stack that look like they could be interesting. I set those aside. I break out my cleaning stuff. So just like a cotton rag and some cleaning solution. I start cleaning. I clean everything before it goes on the turntable just because I want to save my needles the trouble, basically, of just getting completely wrecked because they're already getting wrecked anyway. And so I clean every record that goes on. And then that's when I'm like, you know, spend a few hours on usually a Monday or Tuesday. And yeah, I listen to each one. And if I think it's going to make the show, I put it into a new sleeve, a new brown sleeve, and stamp the date on the back. So I remember when I put it into the quote unquote collection. And then once I have a stack of 25 or 30 of those, I go through and throw them on just like, you know, just like I'm making a mixtape. Like I listen to the first part of the record and then I think, okay, it has this certain sound. It's like, you know, it's an upbeat tune or whatever, has a certain kind of honky tonk feel or whatever. And then I find another one that kind of matches that, put that one on. And then so that way, you know, the show has some sort of flow. So it's not just like really slow song with really fast song with, you know, a really weird song. It's just like there's some sort of like flow to the sets.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I spend a few hours doing research on all the stuff I can find, which, you know, granted what I'm doing was mostly unknown stuff. So that can be kind of hard sometimes just because, you know, there's just not that much information, or the people who had information are dead, or who knows where they are. And so I'll look up on old newspaper archives and stuff and look up people's names and people's cities and, you know, different dates and stuff, see if I can suss out any sort of information. And then after that, I record the show. I just sit down and I do it all at once. I do it like I'm actually sitting in a radio station. Like I turn everything on, get everything ready, have all my records ready to go. And I just, you know, hit record on Audacity and get it going. And then I do the whole show straight through. Then I finish it. When I'm done with it, I do like very minor edits. Like sometimes I'll have to edit it for time to make sure it's exactly a certain time. And that's it, you know? Yeah. And then all that process usually takes a couple days because I have a part-time job and also, you know, there's just other shit going on. So
right.
I'll do that usually between Saturday and Tuesday. I spend at least, you know, 10 to 15 hours doing that.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. Honestly, it is a lot of work. Like you said,
you obviously like this and you like music.
Yeah.
like the process
It's
even.
yeah, it's like, like they say, like if you do what you love as a job, it doesn't really feel like work. And I've been lucky that for the most part, it hasn't felt like work. Sometimes, there is like, oh shit, I have to do a show tonight. I have to get it done. And I kind of don't want to or whatever, but I do it. But for the most part, I get to collect records for a living and like research weird old artists. Like that's like kind of living the dream for me, that's pretty cool. I can't really ask for too much more.
So this is your living. This is a full-time deal.
Mostly, yeah. It's like really close to being completely a full-time gig. I last year I did it as a full-time thing, but my wife has a good job, so any sort of like, so that allowed me to really do it.
Right.
I bring in enough money that I could like almost do it, but I would probably just be like eating ramen, but I got a part-time job this year, so that helps like make the ends meet. But yeah, for the most part, it's pretty close. I have a Patreon, so people donate. People are like, monthly subscribers to what I do. And then I sell a lot of merch. So yeah,
it's great merch, by the way. I need to.
Yeah, thanks.
I'll put the links in the description for anyone that wants to contribute or buy some merch.
Yeah. So between those two things, it's like, it's a full-time job, whether I'm getting paid for a full-time job or not, but it's nice that people feel the urge to support it.
Yeah. It's weird to use this term, but it's kind of like a breath of fresh air, even though I'm sure some of them records probably smell old and cruddy.
Yeah.
Been sitting in bins for years and years.
Yeah.
Yeah, the process is crazy to me because, like, some people are probably like, oh, he's just downloading this somewhere and he's transferring a file and clipping it all together. It's like, no, this is a hand physical deal on a turntable, recorded into the whole shebang. So hats off to you for that. It's pretty wild, man.
Yeah, it's a process for sure. And sometimes I think that like anybody could do this really, like it's not that crazy if they want to spend the time doing it. But then I start to think like, well, I actually have like worked out all these weird problems in the past 5 years. And yeah, it's really grown into like quite a process.
What's some artists that you've stumbled across that you're like now hooked on, would listen to more frequent than
Oh yeah, before, I mean, well, Eddie Nowak is like the big like famous one. I mean, he's famous because the song Psycho, which a lot of people know.
You got his name on it.
Yeah. But he was just like a really great like Texas songwriter and singer who's like kind of never really made it big, but also is not obscure. And I love him. And he's got a bunch of releases. There's a fella named Wayne Cadell who just has one thing that I played on the show a bunch. Buddy Pruitt is another one who's from Fort Smith, Arkansas, who I'm a big fan of. And I hate to say that I found his stuff because it was around for a long time, but I was like the first person that I know that was playing it on the internet and stuff. And so it's really fun to like be able to share these artists that probably only their family really knew about. And then I get people hitting me up about Buddy Pruitt, like not all the time, but sometimes. And it's like really cool to hear from somebody who would have never heard about that artist.
Yeah.
So yeah, then I listen to him, but to be completely honest with you, like I have to listen to so much new stuff every week for the show that like
time.
Yeah, my like indulgent listens is like I listen to like a lot of podcasts and a lot of like non-country stuff and the in between just because I get like so much country stuff doing the show that it's like I don't really feel like I need a lot more.
Right. Makes sense.
Or listen to modern stuff. Like I listen to Nick Shoulders CDs in my car like all the time because they just like are so good, Or like I have like the Todd Day Wait CDs in there and the Sierra Farrell CD in there, all that sort of stuff. So if I listen to a country like when I'm cruising around, it's usually newer stuff, honestly.
Yeah, that's great. How did so you and Nick Shoulders teamed up, and this was his take on your show? It was like compiling music.
No, that was yeah, you're talking about the Ozarks tape?
Yeah. What's the story behind that?
Yeah, so I make mixtapes already, and then I was gonna do one for all Ozarks music, and obviously, Nick is like a big, you know, he's like the ambassador of Ozarks music in a lot of ways, along with Willie and Dylan Earl and all those folks from down there. But so I know he likes to do art, and I really like his art, and I just, Nick's a buddy of mine, so I thought it'd be fun to like, okay, I'm gonna like put this Ozarks tape together, and if you want to do the art for it, it'd be like a cool like win-win for both of us, because then,
Okay.
you can put it on your merch table and take it on tour with you, and it'll be like, here's a bunch of music from around where I'm from, and I just thought that'd be a fun way to team up. So yeah, he did the art for it, and I put it together and had him made, and
Okay.
yeah,
I
little collab.
I was under the impression that he had selected the songs for
No,
whatever reason. I just assumed that. So
no,
okay, you did it. He did the artwork, and it's all
yeah,
music from his region that he.
yeah, it's all music
Really
from the
well.
Ozarks of Arkansas and Missouri.
That's great.
Yeah.
Um, you have anything else? Little twist or things that you might do to the show, or surprises coming up. I mean, you got a lot of episodes out.
Um, I mean, I'm almost up on the 200th episode, which I guess I should do like something special. I don't really know what to do though. Like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I want to do something that's like 5 shows away. So
Yeah.
I feel like whenever I reach any sort of anniversary or like moment like that, like I never think about it in time. And now that I know this is coming up, I'm like, oh, well, I have time to think about it, and I can't think of any like really awesome ideas. Who knows? But yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do something for that, and then I'm gonna go down to the Ozarks and play the Garhole, like Christmas or holiday winter showcase.
Yeah. Nick was telling me
That'll
about
be
that.
fun. I
That'd
was
be
always
cool.
going down there. Yeah.
Um, what what part of you said Lawrence, Kansas?
Yeah, Lawrence, Kansas.
The only little record shop downtown in that little.
Yeah, Love Garden.
Well, I've
Yeah,
been there several times.
really.
Trying to think of that place next to it. Oh, I love that limestone pizza next to it.
Oh yeah, limestone pizza's good, man.
Dude, that is killer. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been in that
like that.
record store. I've got some records out of there before.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I picked up a Doc Watson in there last time I was in there. It's an old.
nice.
That's
What were
a
you
great
doing around
store.
there?
Look for what?
Were you just traveling through or what?
Yeah, pretty much. I was there 2 different times for trapping conventions. I work at a trapping supply taxidermy store. We set up a booth at conventions, and the national convention was there one year, so we stayed in Lawrence and
Huh,
saw a little sightseeing.
that's cool.
Yeah,
Like trapping, like old school, like pelts trapping and stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Like going into the wilderness and setting traps.
yeah, yeah. I mean, kind of fell into it through my wife. Her father-in-law started this business, and um, kind of showed me how to do it, and then kind of ran with it. Been doing it ever since, 15 years or so.
Huh. I don't
Like
think I've ever met
people
somebody who
people
does that.
call, they got issues with coyote hassling their sheep or cattle or whatever, and they need to catch it and get it out. So that's where I come in.
Nice. I had no idea there was a trapping convention in Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean the national is a pretty big deal. I mean, there's like 5,000 people that show up to it,
Damn.
and
Nice.
I help a lot behind the scenes with things. So I'm actually starting to introduce music to it. It's like because they have a banquet and a meal, a president's dinner, and all kinds of stuff. An auction, and they want to just the whole community comes, even if you're not a trapper, just to learn about it. There's demonstrations, there's food vendors. So now that I've been doing a little of this music stuff, I'm starting to pull in some artists to play. It's
Nice.
pretty cool. I'm mixing both of my worlds up, basically.
Yeah. If you ever need a DJ, let me know.
Yeah, That'd be great.
I do it. I'll do events.
Yeah.
But yeah, that record store is where I worked. I worked there for like I think 5 or 6 years at least.
Yeah. I think I was in there not too terribly long ago, like a year ago. I don't know when that was.
That would have been after my time. I moved to Cleveland 4 years ago,
Okay.
I think.
Well,
Yeah.
right now they currently have a pretty cool Charlie Crockett like cardboard cutout in there.
Oh, nice.
And
Yeah, dude. Charlie Crockett is like I have people hitting me up that like are not necessarily country listeners who know that I do the show. Like people from just like my life in the past. They're like, oh man, I'm going to go see Charlie Crockett tonight. He's really good. It's like he's like really crossed over to like just like outside of the country crowds. It's really cool to see that.
yeah, he's something else. I just bought tickets to see him next month.
I
Yeah.
hear he puts on a good show.
He does. I've seen him a couple times. He's great. There was something else I was going to ask you about the radio show. I mean, you're the one that gave me the idea to kind of start mine. I mean, I just been talking to people, but
Really?
it would just drive me nuts to play and talk to a great artist like Nick or Sierra, and I can't play their music because I don't have the rights. And that's when I
Right.
asked you, like, how is he getting away with playing all this music that some of it's got to be copyrighted. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, really, if you just stick to Mixcloud, it's like all good.
Yeah,
They won't.
the
They
website, they pay for it, right?
yeah, they have some. I don't know how it works, but they have some sort of agreement with the rights organization, so it's like all good. Nobody can mess with you because you put up stuff there, as long as you follow their rules, which are pretty lax. But yeah, if you're just putting up a radio show, I mean, I want to see more radio shows in the world too. You know, like.
Well, yeah, we need a lot more of what you're doing out there.
Yeah, I'd love to see like
all the time when you turn on the car radio.
Yeah, I want to see like other versions, like dollar reggae or dollar jazz, like because I mean it's not just country. Every genre has tons of stuff out there. Like we put out tons of music now, but like back in the day we were putting out tons of music too, and like there's more of it than we can ever listen to, and one person can't listen to it all. So it's like you got to have people out there playing it,
right?
Selecting what to play and putting it on the internet.
Yep. I've basically just been compiling. I've only made 3 episodes, so it's a slow thing. But it's just music that I like, and it could be something that was made last year. It could be 100 years old. I try and mix the whole world of all of country. So bluegrass to honky tonk to whatever, folk, just stuff I like. And the first 2 episodes were just kind of like a mix of just random stuff. And then I'm starting to theme them now. The last one before that was and I let it play for 2 hours. I didn't even talk in between. I started at the beginning, said what it was. You don't need to hear from me. Just listen to this good music. And every song was about coal mining.
Oh, nice.
So that region has so much great music,
Yeah.
from that. So, yeah, I think I'm teaming up with WB Walker from Old Soul Radio Show.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've DM'd with him on Instagram, but we've never met. Although, I mean, West Virginia is not that far. I'd love to go visit him.
Yeah, he keeps telling me come out. I'm gonna have to make a trip. I'll stop by.
I feel like we should do like I kind of want to like go down there with someone else and like have like make a weekend out of it or something. Or if like, Nick or Durrell's up, like go down there and visit him.
Yeah, that'd be fun. But he knew Luke Bell pretty well, good friends.
Oh, really?
And he recently passed, so we're kind of just doing a tribute episode to him, and because I love his music, and so we'll put some of his songs on there. But WB's gonna pick out some of the songs that Luke liked, what he liked to listen to, and who was
nice
his heroes, that sort of thing. So should be fun. Yeah, sadly, it sounds like we might have to do another tribute album to Loretta Lynn.
Yeah, I heard about that. Although, I mean, Luke Bell is like, it's a lot more heartbreaking because like with Loretta Lynn, I was talking to some friends and it's like she had a good run. She put out a lot of good music. She lived a full life. But when it's a young person who you're like, this guy had so much more good stuff to put out, it's like, it's so much more heartbreaking, you know?
Gone too soon. Yeah, Loretta, she made it to 90, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good run. I hope I make it that far.
I don't think I'll make it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's cool, man. I'm glad you're doing it. I like WB a lot too. He's like a real dude. I feel like, you know, you meet a lot of people and there's a lot of people you meet on through Instagram or social media who like, you know, you can just kind of feel there's, you know, there's something else going on. They want to get a hold of you because they want to get a hold of someone else or whatever. But WB is just a real, he seems like a real quality dude. I like that dude a lot.
Absolutely. Well, when I plan to go out there, I'll hit you up and see if you're available.
Yeah, let me know. It's not that far.
Find some good music.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I hope you keep the radio show. That's good. I'm glad you're doing it.
Yeah. I had to change my name. I don't even know if you noticed, but we're no longer called Spin That Shit. We're called
I did.
Coyote Radio Show and Podcast because the S word is a naughty word in the social media world.
That's right.
Yeah. So
I did notice.
So, well, man, I appreciate you sitting down and chatting with me. Keep the show going.
Sure.
And, anything else you want to add before we sign out?
No, I don't think so. I'd love to try to make it to your show or something. But if anyone wants to listen to my show, dollarcountry.org is the spot. Absolutely. And yeah, I think that's all I got. I appreciate you having me on.
All right, Franklin. Keep it up and keep playing that shitty music.
I will.
That's a great shirt, by the way. I'll have
yeah,
to
man.
get that one.
Yeah, I got him.
All right, man. We'll see you.